Good day, everybody. So the title of this video is going to be "In Defense of Taiwan," and I wanted to look at the possible methods of which the communist China would need to utilize in order to subjugate Taiwan. So the traditional point of view right now from a lot of military experts is that China would need to do this very quickly, meaning they would need to seize the island quickly. And I don't think that is possible. The first reason is you're probably looking at one of the largest amphibious operations in the history of the human race. You're looking at a more densely protected area on the island nation of Taiwan than we observed during World War II in Europe, because Germany faced the possibility of amphibious landings along the whole coast of France and even in other areas as well. And if you look at the size of the island, it's of decent size, but with its reserve components and its active duty components, meaning Taiwan, it is a very protected island. There is a lot of assets to protect some of these landing areas, and it's mountainous. It's basically a bunch of mountains in a lowland area that is basically full of rice paddies. Look at this. So to invade this, it is going to require huge amounts of preparation. So the United States and Taiwan would see that China is actively getting ready to launch some sort of amphibious invasion. You would see those preparations, and those preparations would probably take in excess of 90 days, if not more. So I don't think the quick strike method is something that would actually work. I think it would have to be a long-term air campaign and a blockade. I think that is the methodology that China would use to subjugate Taiwan. I think it would first try and seize some of these coastal islands, which again would take significant combat resources to seize these islands. They tried this before in the 50s, and or late 40s, early 50s, and it did not go well for them. Now I know we're in a more modern age now, but it would still be incredibly challenging to seize these islands. It would be incredibly challenging to seize this island, and that's going to take winning air supremacy over Taiwan, and that's going to take some time. Now, yes, I think the ballistic missile issue is really going to be brought to the forefront of military experts around the world, because I think those ballistic missiles, and depending on their accuracy, and we have no reason to believe that they are now not accurate. We can see from the ballistic missile strikes that Iran launched against those air bases in Iraq, and I would have to believe that China's ballistic missile capacity is much greater than that of Iran in terms of accuracy. China has its own global positioning system, so the accuracy should be incredibly precise. But I think that right there is going to be the first thing that comes to mind in terms of effectiveness. Does Taiwan have the ability to shoot some of these systems down? Yes. But I think that's what it's going to look like. It's going to be large-scale ballistic missile attacks, the winning of air supremacy, the possible blockading of ports. I think that the United States could act with plausible deniability in terms of utilizing nuclear attack submarine assets in preventing a full blockade by sinking Chinese ships. There's really no way to say that it wasn't a Taiwanese asset that sunk said Chinese warship. So it would give the United States some plausible deniability in being able to be active with those attack submarines around Taiwan. But again, I firmly believe you probably would not see an amphibious invasion. I'm not sure an amphibious invasion would be successful. China just does not have any experience with it yet, and it would need to obtain that experience. I mean, having never done large-scale amphibious operations to invading one of the most protected islands on the planet, that is a big jump. I mean, even in World War II, the United States slowly was able to obtain that experience necessary in learning amphibious operations. I mean, obviously, it started in the Pacific with our island hopping campaigns. These smaller islands to larger islands such as Okinawa, to amphibious landings that occurred in Anzio and Italy, and then finally the big one, the Normandy landings, the D-Day landings, which were very big. And those are the sort of landings that you would see, or you would have to see, by China to seize control of Taiwan. And again, even these smaller islands here and over here, and there's some more up north here as well. I don't know their exact location offhand, but there's several islands that would need to be seized, or at least having systems on these islands removed, because they could shell mainland China. Obviously, this island, Kinmen, would be able to launch long-range artillery, long-range rockets, and hit these densely populated areas if they chose to do so. And if China is taking a method of warfare in which it is attacking every single power generating station, every single television station, all the seats of government, all the command headquarters, even the possibility of going after some of Taiwan's nuclear power plants have been discussed in terms of using precision-guided munitions to take out the ability for those plants to operate, not necessarily cause a meltdown, but take those plants offline. And I do believe that's one of their goals, is to just completely remove any sort of infrastructure any sort of power generation. All the airports, all the air bases, even major highways would be attacked because those highways can be used to be used as airstrips. So they would be going after a host of targets inside of Taiwan and possibly even civilian targets to demoralize the Taiwanese and thus to get them to surrender without having to prosecute an amphibious landing, which may not be successful. Matter of fact, I do not believe it would be successful.